Tokita from Kengan Ashura vs Ryu from Street Fighter, a random, yet interesting matchup for these two series. Let's see who comes out on top in this epic crossover episode of Kengan Ashura. The chapter begins inside the Nogi group's head office, where Ohma and Yamashita ask Nogi how this special match differs from a normal Kengan match. Nogi explains that this is a rare case. The Kengan Association received a challenge from another organization, one that wants to host a competition between the two groups. He adds that the chairman of the Kengan Association strongly recommended accepting, so Nogi chose Ohma as one of the fighters to represent them. Yamashita, skeptical, asks about the opposing organization, knowing they can't be just any group. Nogi reveals that they're naturally strong and once held massive influence in the Kengan Association before breaking off to form their own martial arts organization. This company, now the Kengan Association's opponent, is called Capcom. The scene shifts to the arena where the competition is taking place. Akiyama and Yamashita are stunned by the massive turnout, as they never expected this level of excitement for a match like this. Himuro explains that it's only natural, given how rare such events are. He adds that since their opponent is Capcom, the crowd was bound to be hyped. Okubo chimes in, clarifying that their opponents are fighters called Street Fighters. Yamashita, still confused, asks what that means, and Rihito explains that Capcom's fighters are known by that name. Kaneda points out a few in the crowd, starting with Ken, the Crimson Combat King, from America. Yamashita remarks that Ken looks incredibly strong. Next, Kaneda gestures toward Zangief, a Russian fighter who seems to be good friends with Sekibayashi as they exchange greetings. Suddenly, Okubo, Rihito, and Himuro call Kaneda an idiot, leaving him baffled. Himuro points out that there are also female street fighters present. The scene shifts to a group of lovely waifus, ones I know we're all very familiar with. Seeing them, Himuro, Rihito, and Okubo's neurons activate, and they immediately decide to introduce themselves. We then meet the announcer and commentator duo, Sayaka and Jerry, who will be calling the match. Sayaka introduces the Kengan Association's representative Ohma Tokita, who stands ready in the arena. She then tells the crowd they're awaiting Capcom's fighter. Ohma wonders who his opponent will be, but suddenly, he senses an overwhelming bloodlust that sends a chill down his spine. The sheer pressure tells him one thing: this won't be an easy fight. His eyes lock onto the entrance, anticipation burning in his veins. The scene shifts to a lone figure making his way toward the arena. Before he can step inside, a voice stops him. "I see you're as strong as they say." The figure faces the man behind him, and acknowledges that his reputation has also reached even Capcom. This man is none other than Kano Agito, the emperor of the Kengan matches. Kano admits he's heard rumors about the figure among the street fighters, ones that say that there's a pursuer who seeks true strength to control the demon within. Kano then asks the figure, "Which one will you be fighting today?" The man pauses, then answers in a low, determined voice. "Kano Agito, the power I seek is the power to win, not the power to destroy." Without another word, he makes his way into the arena. Sayaka's voice booms through the stadium. Introducing Capcom's representative, a legendary warrior whose scars tell the story of countless battles. If God stood in his way, he'd fight God himself. If the devil tried to stop him, he'd battle the devil too. Give it up for the ceaseless pursuer, Ryu. Ohma deduces that it was all intuition. He analyzes Ryu's physical stature, noting that his neck is thick enough to absorb any blow, and his log-like arms look like they can easily deliver powerful blows. At the end of his arms are his giant fists that are built like boulders. Ohma knows that this man is really powerful based on his absurd physicality. Ohma then calls out to Ryu, asking who he is. Ryu responds, stating that he is currently looking for that answer himself. This comment confuses Ohma, but Ryu continues, stating that he fights so he can encounter fighters that are stronger than himself. He then declares that in the heart of combat, only then can the answer be found. Ohma looks at Ryu for a moment and laughs, and says that he's a lucky guy. The referee suddenly asks the fighters if they are ready. As they both take their stance, Ohma finishes his earlier statement, telling Ryu that the man who was stronger than him is right in front of his eyes. Ryu laughs at Ohma's comment, and says that he can't say he dislikes him. The scene then shifts towards Kure Rayan, who's spectating the match, commenting that both Ryu and Ohma look like they're worth killing. However, Fusue tells him that he can't kill them both, to which Ryan tells her to shut up or he'll kill her too. Hearing Ryan say this, makes Fusue admits that Ryan's threats doesn't sound like jokes. Ryan then turns to Akuma, telling him that he looks like he's also getting worked up himself. Returning to the arena, the referee tells the fighters to take their stances as everyone watches on. Shortly after, the referee then begins the match, and immediately, both Ryu and Ohma rushes towards each other, and simultaneously strikes, as their fists clash with one another. They then pull back for a second, as they then throw powerful kicks at each other, both attacks narrowly missing their target. They then unleash numerous combinations, most of which are blocked by both fighters. This then evolves into a slugfest, neither fighter giving an inch of opening. This is where the fight truly begins. Sakura watches on in amazement, as she sees both fighters exchange numerous blows, with none backing down. Sayaka comments that they both are exchanging blows at close range, which makes it look like full contact karate. However, Yamashita disagrees as he can see that both Ohma and Ryu are not even. The scene then shifts to Adam, Dudley and Guile watching the match together. Adam asks Guile if he's seeing what's happening. However, Guile puts Adam in his place, asking him if he knows who he's talking to. In his thoughts, he comments that this fight is insane, noting that both Ohma and Ryu are well-rounded fighters, but he knows that that doesn't mean they're both even. He continues to explain that while they're both are well-rounded, Ohma Tokita is more of a speed-type fighter, which gives him the advantage at close-quarters encounters. But interestingly enough, Guile sees that Ohma is actually fighting on Ryu's terms in spite of his disadvantage. Suddenly, Ohma lands a kick onto Ryu which knocks him back. Ohma then quickly advances towards Ryu for a follow-up. Ryu patiently waits, as Ohma throws a punch aimed at his face, but Ryu dodges the blow, and drops to the floor and strikes Ohma's feet with a crouching kick, knocking Ohma off the ground. He then quickly strikes Ohma in the gut while he's in the air, causing him to cough out blood. At this moment Ryu unleashes his trump card, launching his Metsu Shoryuken. However, Ohma evades this attack using his Nico-style redirection kata, Weeping Willow. He then swiftly strikes Ryu in the chest with his Nico-style adamantine kata Ironbreaker, the impact creating a massive crater, making Ryu cough out blood. Ryu drops to the floor as Ohma tells him this fight was a lot of fun. Everyone is shocked by the outcome. Yamashita offers congratulations, while Ken is amazed by Ohma's strength. Suddenly, Ryu jolts back up to his feet, standing menacingly as he declares, "I will stop Ohma Tokita's heart." He has now transformed into his dark Hado form. In a split second, he rushes toward Ohma, striking him in the gut, leaving him stunned by Ryu's speed. Ryu unleashes a barrage of attacks, but Ohma manages to block them. Yamashita notices that Ryu's fighting style has changed, noting that he is moving like a completely different person. Kure Carla observes Ryu's dark Hado form, noting its resemblance to her family's removal technique. Once in this state, Ryu loses control of himself. With another devastating blow crashing against Ohma's defense, Ryu knocks him back. Ohma warns Ryu to not get carried away, pointing out that it'll take more than that to stop him. As Ohma charges forward, he notices Ryu gathering energy in his hands. Ohma wonders what Ryu is doing, but before he can react, Ryu combines the energy orbs and unleashes his Metsu Hadouken. Ohma blocks the attack but is still blown back by the force, crashing to the ground. He lies motionless, and Chun-Li wonders if the fight is over. Ryu shouts, "Get up!" Suddenly, a burst of red aura engulfs Ohma. Kure Carla cheers Ohma's name in excitement, while Chun-Li is shocked that Ohma survived a direct Hadouken. Ryu grins, thrilled to see his rival rise again. Ohma locks eyes with Ryu and says, "You're one hell of a guy, Ryu." Ohma has now activated his possessing spirit transformation and tells Ryu that it's time to turn up the heat. The two warriors square off, ready for round 2. In an instant, they dash toward each other with blinding speed, simultaneously landing punches to each other's face. The audience feels the shockwave from their clash as the battle intensifies. Ohma lands a clean hit to Ryu's jaw, but Ryu counters with a brutal strike of his own. They exchange rapid blows, their movements too fast for the commentators to follow. Ohma suddenly staggers Ryu with a punch to the chest and prepares a follow-up, but Ryu intercepts with a crushing kick to Ohma's face, sending him flying. Seizing the moment, Ryu charges another Hadouken. However, Ohma sees Ryu charging the Hadouken and simply smiles before rushing toward him. Yamashita, clearly worried, wonders why Ohma is running straight into the attack, but Gen, the silent assassin, already knows the fight is over. Ryu finishes powering up and launches his Metsu Hadouken at Ohma. This time, however, Ohma anticipates it. Using the Nico style, redirection and flame kata, flickering flame, he dodges the blast. The narrator explains how Ohma did this, stating that the redirection and flame kata, flickering flame, is a method of running that allows the user to make abrupt changes in direction while maintaining top speed. These rapid changes in direction are made possible by the user shifting their center of gravity. In the moment that the foot makes contact with the ground, the upper body, which contains 60% of the human body's weight, is instantly shifted, and allows for a sharp change in direction. However, this technique places massive strain on the user's legs. Ohma had also noticed a flaw in Ryu's Hadouken, the brief pause after firing it. Seizing the opening, Ohma counters, smashing a fist into Ryu's face. He follows up with a relentless barrage, each strike landing cleanly, as Ryu reels from the recoil of his Hadouken. Ken watches in awe, while Yamashita cheers for Ohma to end it. But Ryu isn't done yet. With a roar, he lunges for one final strike, only for Ohma to evade it and crush him with a devastating uppercut. "You were a hell of an opponent," Ohma says as Ryu's body lifts into the air, then crashes down, unconscious. The referee declares Ohma the winner. Suddenly, the scene abruptly shifts to both Ohma and Yamashita, who had just woken up. Yamashita assumes that they must have fallen asleep. Ohma then remembers that he had come to Yamashita's house to play video games, where they played for 2 days straight without any rest, which he admits wasn't such a great idea. He also remembers the dream he had when he was asleep, to which Yamashita also recalls having a dream. However, Yamashita dismisses the thought of the dream after realizing they have another round in the game they're playing. Ohma notices that Yamashita is picking Ryu again, so he decides that he will pick Chun-Li. As they play Street Fighter on their console, some of the characters from the game watches them play. We've now come to the end of this special chapter of Kengan Ashura. Let me know what you thought about this crossover, and who do you think should have won this fight? Leave your thoughts in the comments, as I'd love to hear them. Also, we are quite close to hitting 1000 subs, so if you enjoyed this video and are not subscribed, please do so, as it really helps a lot. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.